Good morning and welcome to the GSM's Pride. On my way into work on this beautiful Monday morning. Snow is going away and it is 36 degrees this morning. I think we're going to get into the 50s this week, so that's good news. We've got a lot to get caught up on this week. Obviously with the snow last week and last weekend, the week was kind of slow from a sales and service standpoint. Obviously it's not the best weather to really have to deal with trying to sell cars and service vehicles and stuff like that, so we've got to get some catch up this morning. I have a meeting with the sales manager, service manager, parts manager, all the other managers, get them in and try and get those guys pumped up, ready to go for the week. Today I'm going to do my best to film the roadmap to the sale from start to finish, so that's going to be fun. I'm going to also at the same time give me a little bit of a chance to train some of these guys, so we're going to do all the way from meet and greet all the way up to at least the commitment. Don't think I'm necessarily going to do anything past that, but it'll give you guys to see the roadmap, and then see how smooth we really should make it. So that's going to be kind of fun today. Other than that, I'm not really sure what my week ahead looks like. I don't think I've got much scheduled this week from meeting standpoint. Usually when it comes to the final week and the final day of the month, we don't really schedule a great deal, obviously, because we're trying to close the month out. For all you buyers out there, this is the best week to buy a car. Actually, as far as I'm concerned, every day is the last day of the month, but generally speaking in the car industry, that you'll get probably a little bit more of an aggressive deal in the last week than you would in the first week. But so come on out and see us. So other than that, that's really all I've got for right now. I'm nearly at work, kind of a rough morning this morning, just trying to get things caught up and get going for the day. So I'll see you all in a bit. Well, remember I told you I was having a slow week this week? Well, I guess I was dead wrong, because I forgot about something really serious. I'm gonna go around and make sure everything's open up. I kind of have a routine every morning to make sure all the doors are open, make sure the TV's on in the waiting room, make sure we're all set ready for a big day. But I totally forgot. I got the Q2 forecast meeting that's due by the 3rd of March, and we're about a week away, so that's great news on my part. That means I've got to figure out and get that done today. So I'm going to meet with Steve and Brian just to get some ideas on paper, so I can kind of get it set up, ready to go. I know I keep sounding like a weatherman, but it's like 48 degrees outside. Snow's about gone, which I'm really happy about, because maybe we can actually get back to some work. That's about all I got right now. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know, I thought I was gonna have a slow week. That was dead wrong. Morning, Jerry. How the devil are you?
I'm good. Is this a blue Ford Blue? It's a 12 F-150 Lariat. It's a cream puff, man.
Yes, that car is a blue certified. Yes.
Okay. And then
so Jerry's doing his usual getting cars prepped ready for going through the shop right now, and this is one of the blue certifieds that I told you. VI pickup in AM. Nissan Versa.
Not your note, huh?
That is not my note. I have no idea who. That looks like Grant Woods' right. But I could be wrong.
Alright, thank you.
You got it. Okay, so let's make sure this last door is open. What are you doing? John just told me to shut up. It's kind of rude. This is our media room. Look at all this. So every single day we go on and change the music up a little bit. You know, some dealerships you'll go to, which is really crazy to me. It's like a morgue. They'll have no music on.
No excitement in the store. It's kind of crazy to me that that even happens. But I like to mix it up, and I go through the decades. 60s on Monday, 70s on Tuesday, 80s on Wednesday, and so on. We have to be a little careful because I use Apple Music. That's not a plug, by the way. The only negative is sometimes we have to change the music because it might say things we don't necessarily want to say. But even though I have the filter on, it still doesn't work all the time. Okay, so I'm gonna meet with these guys in a little bit, and I'll speak to you in a bit. Okay, everyone, we got a new product in today, which I'm pretty excited about. It's the Mach 1. It basically replaced the GT350 without the flat plane engine. So I just wanted to show you guys real quick.
These two things up here.
Air scoops.
Okay, that's what I thought they might be.
They can run tubes down to the brakes.
Okay. I wondered if that's what they
One
were
of the
for,
two.
but I had no idea.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Ask you too many questions. Grant you customer for life.
I'm good, thanks. Nice Brembo brakes on it. I really like the colour. It very much reminds me of. Wait, I say reminds me. I think it just is cactus grey like the Bronco, but I think it looks better on this car. Even though the colour is fighter jet grey. But let's be honest, it's definitely cactus grey. But either way, if you want to come see that, come take a look. It's a real nice car. First time it's been back out in a few years. I think they had a Mach 1 back about 20 years ago. Maybe I could be wrong on that. I'm not the best product knowledge guy to ask, but either way, just wanted to show you the new product. Okay, so just had a customer come in, and I've never met this customer before ever, and this is the beauty of the car business. Got a 2020 R8, and he just threw me the keys and said, "Take it out, see what you think." So Luke and I are going to take it for a quick spin. Let's see what drive mode we're going to do. That's what I'm talking about. Brakes work. So it's a 2020 R8. Oh my goodness. That's got some go on it. Oh man, this sticks really well. Holy shit, that thing is fast. Oh my god. Oh my lord, this thing's fast. Wow, this thing just wants to keep going, doesn't it? Listen to the sound on that.
I know. Oh my god. Oh, that's the fastest I've been up to 60 miles per hour ever.
Wow. That thing's impressive. Impressive. Okay, I think I just found my new car.
Yeah, right?
What's the sticker on this thing? What is it?
Almost 200.
Oh, that's only a little bit. So I've never been in the V10 before.
Me neither.
I've driven the V8, but not the V10. Wow. It's only a 7-speed.
Really?
That's surprising. You'd think it'd be 10, wouldn't you? drives smooth too, doesn't it, for a sports car? Gonna take a wander down to the service department, see what's going on down there. Surprise Brian a little bit. I'm not telling him I'm filming, so we'll just see what he's doing and see if we can catch him out doing some stuff. It's a beautiful day out, that's for sure. So we're pretty busy in the sales department. Just curious what's going on down in service. Let's see if we can get some things going on down there. February's kind of been a little bit of a tough month. You know, snow hit us pretty hard. You know, stock market's kind of been a little volatile all over the place. That does affect us in the sales department, especially in the prominent area that we're in Chesterfield. So that can affect us at some point. So let's just go down and see what's going on. This is my crazy porters. That surprised me. I bet they're all singing. They usually tend to be singing. They're not though. They always have really, really loud music. Sing along. So I guess they're happy employees, I guess. Tinted Mustang. I wish I had a stereo that good. Well, let's go see what Brian's doing. Nice Raptor there. Performance. That's a cool looking truck. Surprise! You want to be on the YouTube? Woo! I actually came down to see what the porters are doing too, but no one was singing, so it was a little disappointing. Is that the new one? No, this is my own myself. But Brian is looks like he's trying to claim some money somewhere.
Working hard.
Are you working?
I want to talk to you right now about something that has always been a tough subject for myself and probably a lot of other managers in the car industry, and it's talent acquisition. You know, I've done a lot of things with hiring companies and hiring softwares and training, but you know, and I'm sure you could all agree, talent acquisition is probably one of the hardest parts of our job, because you know, a lot of the training I've had and a lot of the software we use, they all, you know, boast about, oh, the interview process is the most valuable, going through a phone interview and going through an in-person interview. But let's be all honest with ourselves for a second. If we've ever been for an interview, that's the best you're going to get somebody. It's the best I'm going to be, it's the best you're going to be. Why? Because you're selling yourself to try and get that job. Everyone, if you're going for an interview with a job, it's probably for a couple of reasons. You're really passionate about going for that role, or you need money. So you're not going to sit there and be totally honest. And I'm not necessarily saying you're going to lie, but you're going to skate around the issue if there's something comes up that's not necessarily against. So, you know, one thing I always do is I always try and talk the person out of getting into the car industry if they've never been in the car industry before. Why I do that is really just to see if I can get somewhat of a reaction off the person, to see if really this is what they want to do as a career. You know, a lot of people outside the industry really don't realize how tough this job is. A lot of people think, oh, I can go talk to people, the cars sell themselves, the customers are already coming in, but there's a lot of no's, a lot of psychological warfare that goes on, and not necessarily with the customer, but with yourself. You know, you have to deal with making, I don't know, 50 to 100 calls a day, trying to call these people to try and get them in, try and get your appointments scheduled, trying to get them to you know, negotiate with you, trying to get them to just talk to you in the first place. So it's a lot of heartache to try and get so many. Let's say you're an average 12 car guy or girl. You really, realistically, if you know, you've got to figure out what your closing percentage is, and you may need to speak to 100 people a month just to try and get 10 or 12 cars out, which is a lot of work. It really is. So I guess my question to all you guys is, how do you find the right person? Where do you get the right people from? You know, the car industry's got a stigma that we have a revolving door. There's a reason we have a revolving door. It's not because myself or any other manager wants a revolving door. We just get the best person on the interview, and 9 times out of 10 those people don't really turn out the way you would hope. You know, they say they want this as a career, they say, oh, this is really what I want to do, I really enjoy cars, but they really don't have a clue what they're going to get themselves into. It's really a very small percentage of people that can deal with this industry and be successful at this industry at the same time. It's very hard to find somebody that really will absorb everything we've got in this industry, excuse me, to try and make this into a career. You know, branding yourself is a big deal. Customer relations is a good deal. Building a book of business is a big deal. Product knowledge is a big deal. Processes is a big deal. There's a lot to this industry. So again, what I'm asking you guys is, where do you get good talent from? Where do you find these people that really want to do this as a career, see out long term, give everything they've got to the industry, give everything they got for you? And I'm not saying give up their life, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying when they're actually at work, give 100% instead of coming in and working for realistically 2 hours and then standing around and waiting for the fictitious bus to show up. So it's one thing that you know, the reason I'm bringing this up right now is, unfortunately, we had to let somebody go yesterday. Very talented person, but there was just a little bit of how can I put this, energy to want to succeed at the store. And again, I didn't want to necessarily let this person go, but you know, we're in a results-based business, and unfortunately I didn't really have much choice. When you're selling 3 to 5 cars a month, and taking a fair share of those up, you know, the leads, it's tough, because you know, you've got to look at your return on investment and what you spend on that advertising. So you know, it's a really tough one. If you are wanting to get in this industry, really think about it. Really start to understand the business a little bit more, and what's really it takes to entail. And I kind of want to give a little bit of a shout out to one of my employees. I'm going to try and keep it a little vague, but this person, you know, came from a different state, really wasn't totally sure if this was what she wanted to do. There we are, I just said she. But really wasn't sure if this is what she wanted to do. Struggled in the beginning, but one thing they have, is which I can't teach and never will be able to teach, is drive. This person is doing absolutely everything they can to try and make it work, rather than just seeing if it will work. And that's the key. That's something I can't teach, and that's something I would always and again, put some comments down below. I would like to see if everyone else agrees. What would you take, results or drive, or somebody that's really busting their butt every single day to try and make it happen? Would you invest your energy into that person, or would you wait, or would you invest your energy into someone who's already selling? So there's a little bit of a reason why I'm asking that question also, because my mentor back in the UK, and also probably, no disrespect to the brothers that I work for now, I absolutely love working for the brothers, but this guy, you know, possibly the best person I've ever worked for in my life. As a owner, he was just excellent in so many different ways. You know, he always told me, he said, you know, a lot of people spend a lot of time and energy to train people who aren't doing so well. Why not put your energy into somebody that is doing well, because you might get more out of that person. And here's what he kind of meant by that. Let's say I spend hours and hours and hours with a person that's not doing so great, and maybe I might get 1 or 2 more cars out of them. But out of a good salesperson, you may get, tweaking them a little bit, you may get 5 or 6 or even 10 more cars out of that person, because they learn something and they take hold of it a little bit more. So it's a really fine line we have to walk every single day to try and make our team good. And again, don't get me wrong, for all my guys that are watching, my team's great. It really is. A lot of frustrations every day, as you know, but generally speaking, we have a good team. We just got to tweak some things and train some things there. So generally speaking, we do well. You know, yesterday everyone worked. Not everyone was supposed to be there, but they understand that, you know, February's been kind of a slow month and we're not doing what we really wanted to do. But you know, these things happen, and they came in to grind out and get some more sales yesterday. So that was good. And I think actually a couple of people that were scheduled off actually came in and sold a car yesterday, which is always good. You know, there's nothing worse than coming in and still doing nothing and you feel like you've wasted your day. But again, I kind of got off subject a little bit there, but you know, give me some feedback. I want some feedback on how are people out there finding the right people that not only fit in your culture in your store, what you're trying to achieve in the store, and also the industry, whether they really want to be in it. Because I'm not gonna lie, you know, I talked a couple of weeks ago about inventory acquisition. Well, talent acquisition is just as tough, because trying to find the right people to do the job and really be passionate about it and take ownership of it and succeed in it is a tough one. So please put some comments down below. I'd love to have some conversation going back and forth about how you guys are doing that, because it's an area that we really need to work on. Again, we have a good team, but we're just about to roll into the busy time, and we need to add some people to our team, and we definitely need to try and find some talent and see if we can get these people molded up. So stick some comments in there. As always, please subscribe. It really helps us out a lot. I really want to try and get to 100 subscribers. Next week I'm going to do a little bit of a competition to try and get us up there. So please come and see that, and I'll see you all in a bit.
So Brian and I are going to do some calculations for the forecast for next week, and really feel like I'm banging my head against a brick wall with this stuff, but we're going to do it anyway and get it on and get it done, and you can watch us go through it. Yeah, we're not going to be able to use last year's numbers in April, May or June, period. You know, people ask me all the time, what do salespeople do all day? Well, people think that they just sit around and do nothing, and that's not the case at all. They have to cultivate leads.
Will I sell 5 more cards this month? Not likely.
You got to have a professional demeanor. You got to be on social media.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, that might be doable. I don't know what time you have available to come in tonight. We're open until...
Dude, look at this video.
I'm going to have to let you go.
It's a Persian cat, man.
There's no Persia.
Trying to build their own business.
So, bro, this is how it's going to work. You put Bernie Sanders over here. Do you get it?
This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
It's the roadmap to the sale.
Making follow-up calls.
Hey, Gabe, it's Alondra. Yeah, I'm just calling to follow up on my hair appointment. Does Tuesday work for you? Perfect.
You know, greeting customers.
Hey, look, there's a customer. Go get him.
Corey. Not famous. It's Bijan's turn. I'm out.
Bijan, go.
Wait, why am I going?
They're all working 24/7, and it's not just when they're here, it's also when they're at home. They have to keep trying to get older customers and keep trying to build that relationship with those people.
All right, Corey. You have a good night, my man.
Man, it's after 6 o'clock. You can wait till tomorrow.
I know my team, and they know what is expected. Nothing gets past me. I run the tightest ship around. Let me tell you, these guys are always working. Hello everyone, welcome to the GSM's Pride. It's that time of week again. It's the employee spotlight. This week I have Cody Crane from the service department. He's one of our technicians, soon to be parts extraordinaire. So we've got a couple of things to talk about there, but we'll set it off and let Cody take the floor and tell us a little bit about his early life, childhood if he wants to, kids, you know, things before the work situation. So what do you want to talk about from the first start?
Well, I've kind of been here and there with Lou Fuse for the better part of about 5 years now.
Okay.
I think it's a good company. I mean, I love working here. I love the people. The atmosphere is good. I can definitely tell that I've grown as an adult within the people.
Let me make a point here, because Chris is going to laugh. Cody's going to laugh. When Cody was here the first time, I was the general sales manager, and I also took care of the used cars, and there's a little bit of a funny story to this. So I was putting brakes on my BMW, and Cody was helping me because he was my used car guy. And I went down there and we were talking, and I had this assumption that Cody was like my age. Come to find out, he was in his early 20s at the time. So I thought he was way older and was more experienced than that, and I guess that's a compliment in some ways, because I thought you were.
I mean, I kind of took it as a compliment. I mean, it made me feel good.
Yeah, but what were you then, like 22, 23?
Yeah, I was just turned like 23 or almost 24 at the time. So I was still pretty.
Yeah, and here's me thinking it was 35.
Yeah.
So that was kind of funny, but sorry.
You're good.
It was kind of a funny story.
Anyways, you know, been here and there with the company, and you know, like I said, I like where the company is headed, and basically I'm excited to start on my new venture in parts here soon.
Yeah.
And hopefully I can continue to grow with the company. A little bit about me, a little more. I initially was not with Lou Fuse when I started my career. I had started with another dealership network in the area, and I just kind of almost felt stagnant there, and like there was not really a possibility of growth there, because they had a lot of, I shouldn't say older, but a lot of middle-aged,
more seasoned.
Yeah, more seasoned talent.
Yeah.
And they were kind of set with what they wanted, and at the time I had a child on the way, and it was kind of one of those, it's now or never kind of need to make the jump deals. And I decided to make the jump one day and came in and talked to our then manager and was almost hired on the spot.
So when you started, was your full intention to be a technician in the car industry? Was when you got to the point in your life where you go, okay, I need to figure out what I'm going to do for a job. Was that something that you intended to do, or was it something you kind of fell into, or how did that work itself out?
I had always kind of had an interest in cars, and it just kind of, it always brought me joy, and it always, I always just found it interesting. I always, wanted to learn more, wanted to progress with it.
Yeah.
And I kind of fell into it, and then after working in the business, I would eventually like to, end up in charge and work my way through.
Yeah.
And get to a good management position, and take on the responsibility of having the guys underneath me.
Which is kind of happening right now, correct? We had a job opportunity come up that you interviewed for.
Yes.
Yes, we went to with somebody else, but there was really the reason behind that is he was kind of first come first serve on that situation. But then now we also put up the opportunity to move into a parts role, so you can kind of gain some more experience in different areas of the store. So yeah, the whole point of really giving you these opportunities is to kind of put a different feather in your cap, so you can find out really what works best for you.
Exactly. And what I've always liked to think is, I would rather myself be a jack of all trades than a master of one craft. I would much rather be, skilled in this portion of something and this and this and this, and bring that all together, and then be more valuable to the team instead of just one particular area.
So while we're talking about different crafts, let's talk about a little bit, because I remember when you were here the first time, you left and you went to work on boats, correct?
I did. I worked for a company that builds offshore power boats.
Yeah.
And it
was that fun?
It was extremely fun. I found that job relaxing almost. What I did was I made the main wiring harnesses for the boats. So every wire that went into the vessel, you want to call it, I touched. And every connector I made by hand. And the boats that I was producing, they sell anywhere from upwards of $500,000 to $1 million plus.
And these are kind of like race boats.
Yeah,
right?
these are high-end race boats, high-end luxury boats. I mean, they're not yachts, but they're very, very upscale, handcrafted, American-made boats.
Yep.
And it gives you a good sense of pride whenever you can stand back and look at something, and you can be like, wow, what I'm building is being marketed at.
Yeah, and it's in there.
At this much, and there's when I worked there, we had a 2-year wait list for a boat.
That's crazy.
So
for a $500,000 boat.
So people, were in line for, my work, and it was a pretty good feeling.
Yeah. And then you came back.
I did.
Back in basically the same role, correct?
Yes.
And then you, when you left for the second time, you went to do something for the state, correct?
I worked for the highway department.
Highway department, yeah. Okay.
And I was just kind of trying to venture, see what I could do. I didn't really know. I was kind of at a weird spot in life and just had a lot going on, and just wanted something different, wanted to change of pace.
So while we're talking about that, you have left twice, but you've come back for the third stint. Hopefully you stay this time. Did you leave for any specific reason that was related to Fuse, or was it more of a personal reason you left? And you can be honest. I want you to be honest about it.
Well, both, honest. If you want my honest opinion, both. I mean, I kind of wanted to. I wanted to look far ahead into the future, and I kind of lost grips with that, and I kind of took more of a short-term view. And at the time when I had left, there was a lot of change going on, as you know.
Yeah,
there was a whole lot of change, because at the time you were not in charge yet.
No.
Our now service manager, Brian Knowles, was not in charge. He was just becoming in charge.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, I think we went through 2 general managers and 2 or 3 service managers and parts managers within like an 8-month period.
Yep.
So there was a whole lot of movement, and it was just, it didn't feel good. It was a very unsettling feeling within the company, and it was, there's a lot of animosity, and it was.
Yeah, what you're talking about, the store was in, and I've mentioned this in other videos, was in very much a transition mode when I first came.
Yeah, and it was a very rough transition.
Yeah.
It was like being on a surfboard in a tsunami. It's kind of what it seemed like,
some surfers might like that.
Not when you don't know how to stand up.
So then that was the first time. The second time you left really just because of why?
I just needed a change of pace. I just needed something different for myself. I just was kind of burnt out on it. Just wanted to see if I could manage something else.
Yeah. And I think, and I'm going to speak a little bluntly here, I think you're still kind of in that realm right now, correct? Where you like doing cars, but you don't really necessarily see that as your ultimate goal further forward in life. So that's why you kind of wanted to transition to a different role in the store, is that correct?
Exactly. And my now service manager, Brian, who was in your last video,
Yeah.
he and I had sat down and we had kind of had a very, real conversation, and I had kind of told him my goals, and I told you my goals when I'd come back.
Yeah.
And it was to, eventually work into a management position.
Yeah.
And Brian and I had kind of decided that, maybe with moving into parts, that might be a more suitable role in advancing
Correct.
up like I would.
And mainly because you would have to take Brian out of his role.
I would, yes.
Which would be a tough order for anybody.
Well, extremely. And, I mean, with all respect to Brian, Brian does a great job with, what he was dealt.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine that anybody would want that much responsibility without it kind of being, pushed on them a little bit, but Brian does a great job with managing what he has.
And I'll touch on that real quick, is when we transitioned to give him Brian, I don't know where Mike came from, Brian, the parts and service role was because we were kind of put in a position where we didn't really have much choice.
Yeah.
And then it was, and we sat down and both said, this is a test. If it don't work, then no one's going to be mad at anyone, we'll back it down. And that still could be the case moving forward. Right now, everything's going well, but that doesn't mean that we are open to having a parts manager at some point. Just right now, we don't really have a good candidate for that role. So now you're back, and then you're going to be moving into the parts department on March 1st, correct?
Correct.
Yep. Are you excited about that transition?
I'm excited. I'm a little bit nervous. Obviously, whenever the pandemic hit, we had laid a bunch of guys off, unfortunately. So
and brought them all back.
And everybody was brought back, which I was very happy about. But in the meantime, I had been offered a position within the parts department to kind of help out and do a lot of the grunt work.
To keep some money coming in.
Yeah, to keep money coming in, and you and Brian did a good job with trying to make sure everybody had a place, even if it wasn't their exact place, but they had a place, to come back to in the meantime, which I greatly appreciate.
Yeah, it was a tough ordeal to try and fit everyone in, but we found some ways to put it in, especially when we have two different unions too.
Yeah, so I kind of dabbled in parts, and then towards, I guess, the middle of our shutdown period, work was starting to come in, and people were starting to get more money, and we were picking up with business. Well, before I had returned to the shop, the kind of solo parts man that we had was almost getting overwhelmed. So he kind of gave me like a quick crash course and showed me what to do. So I was trying to help out the shop as much as I could. I don't know if I helped or hurt them more, but I gave it what I had, and I just kind of enjoyed it. But I'm a little bit nervous. Obviously, there's a lot more to learn, and it's a completely different role. But if you want to advance, you have to make the jump.
Yeah, sometimes you got to make decisions that will change things a little bit.
Exactly. So, as nervous as I am, I'm up for a good challenge.
Good. Well, we're pretty excited about you going in there. I think you should take some pride in the fact that we brought you back 3 times. There's probably a reason for that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't usually get 3 swings at three swings of things, but you never burnt bridges when you left. It was all on amicable reasons and really more of a personal thing for yourself. So that was never an issue in the first place. What are your aspirations for the future? Because obviously we've got to the point where we're at current day right now. What would be your aspirations moving forward within the store or the network as a whole? I know you already kind of touched on it.
Like I kind of touched on it, my end goal, I would like to, be in charge. I want, the responsibility of, running the show, and I would like to eventually, be the guy that everybody comes to and says, hey, these are our problems. We gotta, we want this changed. We want this fixed. Can we do this? Can we do that? And, at the end of the day, I want to be the guy to, make the call and have the responsibility and hopefully steer the company in an even better, direction and progression than it's already headed.
One thing I will say is, I don't know if you have any interest in this, with your aspirations being in that direction, it might be worth you jumping into the continuous improvement meeting for the parts department in that area.
I'd be up for it.
Jamie's in there now, but we can have two. We have two service guys in there, so and a rider. So that might be something, because if you're looking for some of that extra role for, okay, these are the things we need to change, let's work on them. That's an area that we can definitely look into for sure. Since we're up to date and past the future, is there anything that you want to bring up about the network, your personal life, anything really at this point? Because we're kind of at the end, but if you want to bring anything up, then you're more than welcome to.
Honestly, growing up, I had, heard the Lou Fuse name, and, I'd always kind of understood the synonymous, we are St. Louis.
Yeah.
And I never really truly, I guess, understood how close knit it was. They say St. Louis is the biggest little town you've
no doubt,
been
that's
in.
for sure.
And within working, at a couple other places, obviously, you know people and you meet people, but it seems like everybody, everywhere you go, knows somebody at Lou Fuse, and they always have great things to say about them.
Yep.
And I have to agree with them. It's a big family here that we have, and obviously we have to kind of be a family because we're around each other.
Yeah, joined at the hip most of the day.
Yeah, 8 or more hours a day, and especially working in our service department, the two guys that work on either side of me are 10 feet away.
Yeah.
Which from this isn't, necessarily a good thing with the COVID going around, but we make it work, and we see each other more than our families most of the time.
For sure. I'm glad you brought that up, because that's something that, this morning on the way in, I actually did a little video on talent acquisition, getting the right people in for the right jobs. And a lot of people don't realize how difficult this industry is as a whole. It doesn't really matter if you're in sales or in tech or in parts or service. We spend a lot of time at this place. Now I understand that people spend a lot of time in their jobs in different roles in different industries, but I think the car industry is one of those where it's more impactful on somebody's life, the amount of time we actually spend at work. People don't realize that.
Absolutely. To kind of add on to that, if you want a more blunt description of it, I would say that this, career, whether it's in parts or sales or service, is not for the faint of heart.
Absolutely.
And it is not for the weak. You have to definitely have a strong mindset. You have to be able to problem solve. You have to be able to deal with anything that's thrown at you. And, it could be, in some cases, the weather. We work in a shop, and it's hot, it's cold, it's rainy, it's snowy, it's dry. It's all of the above.
Why in St. Louis especially, you can have 4 seasons in one day.
Exactly. Like last week, we had a foot of snow, and yesterday we had 65 degrees.
Yeah, my wife took my dogs for a walk for the first time in like a month.
Yeah.
Which was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, but like you're saying, it's definitely, it takes a special person to succeed in this area of work, and you can't just have any random person off the street.
I agree.
And I feel like a lot of the people that we are co-workers with share the same mindset of, they always want to progress. They always want to be better. They want to be escalating themselves to that next level.
Talking on that, do you feel like, because you've been in and out for the last 3 years, let's say, do you feel we as a store and a team is better now, or when in let's say your second term, because the first one was a little rough for everybody?
I would say that the store that we have now, with the crew that we have now, is the best crew that the store has probably ever had.
Yeah, I would agree.
If you look at it from a number standpoint, we're constantly breaking records for previous years past.
Absolutely.
And just from a technician's standpoint, the guys down there in the shop, we are constantly trying to push, and we are just hungry. We want more.
Well, we definitely have a lot of a younger staff down there than we've always had. And when I say younger, it's not necessarily just in age or even experience, because we still have a lot of experience down there. It's just a different group of people. Because the problem is when I came here, there was I'm going to use this term bluntly, the old clique.
It was.
And I think it was a very hard challenge for myself and everybody else around to try and get that click to go in the direction that we thought the store could go. Now I feel we've got such a fresh, open mind down there that we can go in any direction we really want.
Exactly. You know, whenever you came on, even when I came on board, which was just, you know, not very long before you,
yeah,
it was very set in stone as to how everybody wanted to be, how everybody acted, how, you know, everybody did things, which can be good, but in a sense of a business, it was not.
Yeah.
I mean, there was definitely, how do I put this nicely? There were almost attitudes of, you know, this is how we do it, this is how it's going to be.
And we're not changing.
And we're not changing.
Yep.
You know, we've done it this long, there's no reason to fix what's not broken.
Trust me, I was part of the whole breaking that wall down. It was tough.
I bet it was. I bet it was.
So, cool. Well, we're about out of time, so have you got anything that you want to finish to the people at home with, and then we can get out of here?
Basically, I'll leave with a quote. How about a quote?
And let's do it. I like it.
Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm.
That's awesome. Great finish. Well, as always, over at Lou Fuse, we can replace the car, not the customer. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Say bye, Cody.
See you around. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, we're kind of busy, but it's the second to last day of the month. I'm actually going to get John Stoll to do a walk around on an F-150. I think it makes a little bit of sense to teach you guys a little bit about our vehicles. So I'm going to have John Stoll do a little bit of a walk around so we can all learn as much as we can about the F-150.
This is the all-new 2021 Ford F-150. The #1 selling vehicle in the United States for over 40 years running. This vehicle has been modified and redesigned for 2021 to give it more horsepower, a sleeker look, and better handling. This vehicle is powered by Ford's flagship 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 engine called the EcoBoost. This engine provides 400 horsepower at 500 foot-pounds of torque. You can see this is one of the air inductions right here. They've slanted the front end a little bit to make it more aerodynamic. This vehicle is 100% body is military-grade aluminum. Makes it lighter, more fuel efficient, but underneath this vehicle sits a fully boxed frame, meaning there's a solid box of steel at the bottom. So you've got a lighter top and a strong industrial heavy strength underneath, which gives it unbelievable balance and sway control. The yaw rate on this vehicle is phenomenal. On the side of the vehicle, these are LED spotlight mirrors. There's a button on the inside you press. This will shoot forward and backwards for evenings where you can see what's out there. The inside of the vehicle has a 12-inch touch screen, but it's fully voice activated. Tell it what radio station you want it on, tell it what temperature you want the vehicle set on, who you want it to call, who you want it to text. You can even say, I'm hungry, and the navigation system will find you a local place to eat. Heated seats, air-conditioned seats, and a heated steering wheel. Down the side of the vehicle runs a girder that's at bumper height to reinforce side impact. There's also curtain airbags, airbags in the front, rear curtain airbags. The rear of the vehicle, there's the fuel tank. I love this, no cap. Makes it quick in the wintertime when it's cold. Something that's new and exciting. Tailgate. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, you like working outside, you've got your ruler and both in regular and metric. Here's a plug-in where you can plug your tools in. And if you want to clip things down, you've got 2 spots here and there where you can hold things in place. Now there's a company out there, and I can't recall the name of it right now, that really brags about the tailgate step. And I'm amazed with how complicated that tailgate step is. This is our tailgate step, which by the way we had first. It's tough. Push a button, pull it down, raise it up. Now that other company's handle is way down here. Now, I'm not a young man, but it's kind of hard to get myself up here without being able to pull myself this way. So you decide. And, where's the button? Goes up on its own. This car will make you incredibly excited. This is the FX4 package, which gives you the off-road package. It gives you the skid plates, protect the underneath if you decide to take this vehicle off-roading. The last thing I could say is this is probably one of the most unbelievable driving vehicles you'll be in. It's got the power of a sports car and the versatility of a truck, a tough truck, all in one.
Awesome. That's pretty good. What wouldn't you say? I'll get that uploaded, and thank you, John. Appreciate it. Okay, question. Every Saturday morning meeting you have, who runs the meeting? That's what I want to know. So one thing we do differently at Lufuse Ford is I actually get my salespeople on a weekly basis to run the meeting and give the training. A couple of reasons why. I think you get more engagement that way, and you get people that are having to look up the answers to make sure that they are getting the right training down. So little tip there, get your salespeople or your team members to do the training rather than you do it every single week.
When finance managers will love this, because when we go up there and they have bad credit, they always ask for STIPs. So you need recent pay stubs, proof of residence, but it has to be dated like 30 days. Needs to be dated in last 30 days, like an Ameren bill, Spire bill, or a bank statement. Valid ID, of course, valid car insurance, but I would do the car insurance after, because you don't want them spending all their down payment on a car insurance, and then you just lost the deal. If they're paid cash, a 1099, or instead of a W-2, or they need 3 months of bank statements. My dad had a business, so when he went to buy a car, he always brought 3 months of bank statements with him. Good HR number so bank can verify employment. If they get Social Security, like a Social Security award letter, 3 months plus 3 months of bank statements showing deposits. If your customer received child support, they might be able to use it as like part of their income, but they would have to bring a court order with 3 months of bank statements and deposits. But banks look for not so perfect credit. We got to educate our customers on like what vehicles to buy, because they'll come in looking at a shiny new BMW, or like a BMW that has 150,000 miles on it, and we can't get them that car. So you want to look for something that's 80,000 miles or less, 2015 or newer, so the banks can give them the loan. A vehicle that holds value as well. For example, I had a customer who was looking for a family vehicle. We got her into a family vehicle like a Suburban, but it held value and the banks liked it. Accurate hire and start date, so we can calculate income. So if they started like 3 months ago, but then we find out they started last month, we gotta get that accurate hire date. And money down is always good, even $100, because the banks like any type of money down, especially if you don't have not so good credit or no credit at all. Having a good trade is good, because the banks will see you as that. Your banks will see your customers have owned a vehicle before, and then they'll change the entire thing, and like you get a loan easier. Apparently, I didn't know that until Brian taught me that yesterday. Cosigner is especially important, because if you have a customer that says, just always ask, do you have a cosigner, because then it can improve their chances of getting the loan. Qualified, yep. A credible cosigner. You're right about that.
People runners don't make it even.
Exactly, because it takes the average, right? So if you get someone with a cosigner, instantly put them in.
Well, that's true.
Simple math, right? No.
Let's get that day in school.
The one half day.
The entire year of math.
I think I'll just swap. Sorry.
No, you're good. And one other good thing to do is like if a credit calls you and instantly says I have a 550 credit score, send them a credit app and then find the vehicle they want to do and just fill out a sheet. Because then you don't have to waste their time and don't have to waste your time. Bring them in, taking 2 hours looking at a car to find out they can't get the car at all, or they don't have any of the steps. So just work ahead of it, and if you can get them a car, great. Bring them in, then you're good to go, and you're not wasting anybody's time. Managing customers' expectations. Be quick on follow-up and responses. You know, they want to be treated like they have an 800 credit score, not like they already understand what situation they're in. Well, it is Persian spelling and Farsi. But you know, customers like to be treated just like everybody else.
Actually, new responses.
Yeah. They understand that they have a, you know, they already understand where they are at if they have no credit or they have a 450 credit score. So if you treat them well, like for example, I had a customer who's purchased 2 cars already for me and they had bad credit, and now they're going to buy their 3rd car from me next month. So it just shows they're easy customers and you build a relationship with them. So when they ever come in, they'll ask for you because you worked with them. And this isn't going to be their first car, so when they're coming in, you're looking to get them a reliable vehicle, and not their dream vehicle, of course, but it's a stepping stone to building their credit, and they can get their BMW from you the next time, or get it from Jason.
What's this paper from me?
Oh my God! Well, there you go.
I do have a couple of questions.
Go for it, buddy.
You to answer it. How do you figure out if they have bad credit?
Huh? They usually just tell you half the time. They're like, oh, I'll ask them like, what's your credit score from 1 to 10, right up, and then they'll be like,
What's an easier way? Let's talk about the process for a second.
Okay.
How would you figure out if they have bad credit?
what do you mean? Like,
well, so when they walk in, if they're
How do you find out?
minority, you just assume they have bad?
no, you never assume.
So then how do you figure it out?
Well, I mean, it's a couple different ways. If they have a previous loan, ask them who the loan is through.
Bingo.
Yeah.
If it's through Bank of America or it's through Santander, who do you think has better credit?
Bank.
Bank of America.
Yeah.
If it's through a credit union, what's the likelihood it's a good credit?
That's good.
Really good.
Okay,
Yeah.
what other ways can we figure it out?
Well,
This is all awesome, I'm
Yeah.
happy with it, but we need to also figure out how to find out if they're bad credit.
No, I agree.
Because you talked mainly about wasting time, well that's the problem is if we don't find out what...
usually I just talk to them, and then I have had people just really
What
just.
tool do we have to be able to talk to them
Oh,
about?
a credit application? Wait,
Credit.
the roadmap. Well, that's what I said earlier. Do the roadmap to the sale, and yeah, yeah. That's the sheet I called it. Sorry, it's the roadmap to the
That's
sale.
why
Yeah.
it's imperative, and Luke did it with me, you do the roadmap first, because then you'll figure out real fast before you start showing cars whether they can buy them.
Yeah.
I might have lied. I'm not a 9. I'm more of a 6 or so. I'm just saying.
You still didn't buy anyway, you backed out like the rest of you.
you gotta bring that up.
All right.
We off? Okay, there's a lot of things on here that
Hope everyone enjoyed the vlog this week. I certainly did. You got to see a couple of things this week. You got to see the stresses and the strains of the roles that we go through, and especially with the quarterly forecasts and whatnot going on. That was a big one. I really hope you enjoyed the R8 ride and drive as much as I did. That was some serious fun, and thank you again for that customer that allowed us to take that out for a spin. Also, I hope you enjoyed and got a lot of information out of the John Stall's Walkaround. It was informative for me, and I think he had a little bit of fun doing it too. If you did like that Mach 1, come out and see it. Take a look at it. We're pretty excited to have those back on the lot. They haven't been out for a while, and they're definitely a nice car. A little disappointed to let the GT350 go, but other than that, it's a good one. Also, really hope you enjoyed Cody Crane's Spotlight this week. It was a little bit of a different format for me. Answered a lot of other stuff, mainly about work, and I got to know a couple of things for Cody that I didn't know before, especially about his aspirations. That was all good fun. If you please subscribe, put some comments in down below. Really need those subscriptions. I'm also going to put a link to another video on this side, subscribes on this side of the video, so please jump on there and do that. And as always, at Fuse Ford, we can replace the car but not the customer.